Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of my Transformers reviews. I know it's been a good minute since I made my first one, but I should be less busy soon with my school semester winding down, so hopefully I can make more of these soon. So anyway, today I'm going to look at a bit of an older figure at this point, which is Siege Hound. So G1 Hound has always been a personal favorite character of mine. Maybe not in my top 10, but I've always thought he had a really cool design and was generally just a fun character. So Siege Hound here was one of the very first War for Cybertron trilogy figures, and honestly, in a lot of ways, he really feels like a tone setter for what the trilogy ended up being. Like, yes, it's absolutely G1 Hound, it's pretty accurate to him as a whole, but, it's also been run through a bit of a gritty badass filter. The design's a fair bit more swole and beefy looking than his animation model. He just looks more broad-chested, and also his shoulders actually look functional now and not like unguarded structural weak points. It's driven home especially by a lot of the darker shades than usual for the character, like with the darker shades of sort of military green, with a little bit of bronze thrown in there too for good measure, along with the typical siege battle damage. Like again, it's definitely not completely accurate, but it's a really awesome new take on his design. This feels like the Rambo Hound, the badass commando soldier built for especially rugged and difficult missions. But at the same time, it still absolutely captures the spirit of the character. It sells the vibe of the nice guy who's always interested in exploring new worlds and meeting new people, which is what Hound was. For accessories, he comes with this gun that's a little bit bland looking on its own, but it comes with this really awesome drum magazine that actually combines with it, which, first of all, just want to say, makes it look so much cooler, and second of all, this is such an awesome feature that I really think would be cool to see more figures have. Like, even in the War for Cybertron trilogy, Hound was the only figure who really got something like this. Also comes with his shoulder cannon, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too big on. Like, it's fine, it works fine, but I do think it looks a little too much like it's just an oversized exhaust pipe. Like, they could have probably redesigned this to maybe look a little bit more like a rocket launcher. But yeah, overall, he's not bad on this front. As far as posing goes, so his head can swivel. Also, make sure that you move this little hood piece out of the way, because if you don't, yeah, his swivel will become basically useless. Shoulders pull a standard 90. Thanks to the transformation, he actually has a backwards butterfly joint. So yeah, you can absolutely have him pull off that Sonic Run pose. Elbows pull like a 95. Has a waist swivel. Also has a wrist swivel. Bicep swivel too. Arm rotates all the way around. I mean, that should be pretty obvious, but yeah. Can kick both forward and backward really far. Also to the side really well. Has a really good ankle pivot too. He passes the Van Damme test with flying colors. Thigh swivel. Knees are admittedly a bit weird, because like if you have him kicking out forward to the front, yeah, they only pull like a 90, hell, actually maybe even a little less, but like if you move his legs out to the side, then yeah, they go almost all the way in, so that's a little weird. I feel like maybe they could have designed these a little differently, but you can still work around it. Also has some very slight toe up that's a little limited, but it's still nice. So yeah, by today's standards, he's a little basic on the posing, but he's still pretty good. You can definitely still get him in a lot of dynamic stuff. I do wish his knees were a little better, but yeah, I mean, he does have pretty much everything you could want, even if some of it is a little bit basic. For some size comparisons, here he is with 86 Optimus, 86 Bumblebee, and Kingdom Blaster. Here he is with Siege Thundercracker, Legacy Skullgrin, my last review, which is the Legacy Skyquake, and 86 Rumble, because why not? Here he is with Lego Mario, Jay's Titan Mech from Ninjago, and the Black Series Darth Vader. And finally, just for shits and giggles, here he is next to a bottle of hand sanitizer and next to the Beavis and Butthead collection. Now on to his alt mode, and I just want to say, I know I didn't show it on camera, but this figure has one of my all-time favorite transformations. Like, there's so many clever tricks they use, like, all the wheels here, they're basically formed by splitting the leg in half, which is really cool. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this alt mode, too. Kind of looks to me like a Warthog from Halo run through a bit of a cyberpunk filter, and yeah, I think it's really cool. Like I said earlier, it really captures a bit more of a gritty badass vibe. Like I was saying earlier, like this truck just absolutely feels like it's built to handle some super treacherous terrain on an especially brutal mission, and I just think it's really cool. Honestly, I still absolutely think this figure is what Strong Arm should have been retooled out of. Like, Hound just feels a lot closer to her body type than the Elita mold, and While it's definitely not perfect, this alt mode still feels relatively close to the shape that hers is supposed to be. So yeah, I really love this figure, and the aftermarket prices on him surprisingly aren't too bad, so yeah, I absolutely say grab him if you can.